everybody. Welcome to Haunting Live Podcast. We are live tonight. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to our show for HauntingLivePodcast.com. Hope you're all doing very well on this Saturday evening. This is Isolation Podcast number 10. We've been doing this for a few weeks now. If you're new here to our podcast, what we normally do is go out on location, bring you live podcasts from locations and do live investigations for you guys. But since we've been in lockdown for the past at least 10 weeks now, we have been doing podcasts from home. So we are bringing you our number 10 podcast. And thank you guys very much for tuning in. Tonight we have Chris in chat. He will be in chat with you guys. So if you're in chat, say hi to Chris and he'll pass any messages along to me throughout the podcast tonight. And if you do have any questions for me, please let me know. Let me know if you have any issues with anything. Let me know how things are going. And if you have any questions for our guests, let me know. Tonight we do have a very special guest. We have a special guest from Stratford, Ontario. She is a psychic that we work with fairly closely in our field. And tonight we're going to be interviewing her about some different things, including what she's been up to lately, how she got her start in her abilities, what her abilities are, what she does, and also about a brand new podcast series that she is starting. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff. And then towards the end of the podcast tonight, we're going to actually try something new that we haven't done before, which is a little palm reading game that we came up with, and we're going to test Sally's abilities tonight, sort of as a little fun game, and see how that goes tonight on the podcast for you guys. So thanks very much for tuning in. We are Haunting Live Podcast, and you can actually reach us at our brand new website, which is HauntingLivePodcast.com. We bring you our podcast every Saturday night, tonight at 8 o'clock. And we always post them up to social media as well at the end. So you can watch them on Facebook afterwards. You can also watch them on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Haunting Live as well. So with that, thanks very much, guys, for tuning in tonight to Haunting Live Podcast. Like I was saying, we do have a very special guest tonight. She's one of our very close colleagues that we work with in the paranormal field. She is a medium a psychic medium from Stratford, Ontario. And we're going to talk to her tonight about her abilities and what she does. So her name is Diane, and we're going to talk to her momentarily here. So let's just get right into it tonight and see if we can bring Sally in here tonight and see how she's doing. Hello.
Hello. Ah, there you are.
Are we up?
We're up. Can you see me?
Not quite yet. Is your video up?
No. Let's see. Now it is.
Basically, let's start from the beginning a little bit and go back to how you first got into being a psychic medium. Like, what brought you into that field? Like, what was your first experience with that?
Oh my goodness, you're talking about
pretty far.
Whole life. Oh yeah, I started having premonitions when I was 4. So I always had an interest in this. Uh-huh. And when I was 12, the day before Bobby Kennedy got shot, right, I actually drew his assassination.
Oh, okay.
And then when I was a teenager, my mother gave me my first tarot deck, and I've been reading ever since. And I've always had an interest in the occult and the metaphysical. I grew up in a haunted house, so I'm very familiar with ghosts.
Right. Right, so that's sort of where we work with you in that field. We also mainly investigate the paranormal end of things, so we investigate the spirits and try to communicate directly with spirit. Now, I know you call yourself a psychic person, so is that different than a mediumship, as we deal with a lot of mediumship as well? Is psychic any different than mediumship when you work with that?
Well, it's kind of a field that crosses over, because psychic just talks about the general ability to pick up things that have happened, are going to happen. It talks about your premonitions and the like. Now, when you talk about mediumship, that's communicating with people who have passed, and all mediums are psychics, and most psychics are mediums on one level or another. I like doing the psychic readings, and so I do mediumship, but only at certain times in my reading.
Okay.
So it's not my whole thing. I like to look at a person on a whole, the whole person.
Right. So you more deal with the psychic part of things than the mediumship.
Yes.
Right. So you do like the readings and try to pick up people's energies. Is that more aligned with the psychic development?
Yes. When I give psychic development classes, I play this fun little game called mystery boxes. And I have these boxes that have like little things in it just wrapped in tissue. Mm-hmm. And the students pass them around and just write down what their impressions are. And then we open them up. And it's really a fun game. The students all like it. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting way to understand how your subconscious mind speaks to you, because I truly believe that people get impressions all the time. They just don't know how to interpret them, and they're so subtle that most people just plain filter them out.
Right. Yeah, so one of our beliefs too is that everybody has a bit of psychic ability built into them, so it just depends how wide open your chakras are, correct?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So would you call something like maybe intuition the same sort of thing, or is that kind of different?
I think it still falls along the same sort of a line. Mm-hmm. I think that intuition might be a little bit more clairsentient in that it's not a definite visual or definite word that you put to it, but just a feeling.
Right. So intuition is more of a feeling than getting information, say.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true with everybody. Like, I think everybody has that ability built into them. It's just a matter of how they work around it, how they perceive it, and how they want to work with it. So, like, if they really just want to shut it off, they'll do that and ignore it. Yeah. But if you want to work with that and develop it, that more turns into psychic ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be surprised at how many people have a deck of tarot cards tucked away in a drawer somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have ours as well. We don't use them as much as we probably should, but we tend to use our abilities more. We like to work and develop our own abilities, so we know when we walk into a situation where we're investigating a location, we can automatically start picking up things right away. I feel that's more adapt to our situation, where we can go in, feel things, and sense what's there is kind of more important than trying to worry about bringing cards to every time you go into a location or whatever, trying to bring out the tools kind of thing, where your tools are more built into yourself.
Yeah, and you don't have to just have cards as tools. There are a lot of just around the house sort of things you can use. Right. For example, did you know that you could read with pennies?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, well, for example, you take one penny, and of course heads is yes and tails is no. So you can ask the penny as many questions as you want and flip it up. But my favorite way to use it involves 4 coins, and it's based on there being 5 different stages. So with these 4 coins, if you throw your coins and it's all heads, 4 heads, that means all good. Just like 4 tails means all bad.
Okay.
Now, when you get the all, nothing's always all. So if you get all good, you got to start thinking, okay, it's mostly good, but I must be missing something bad. Mm-hmm. And the same thing, if it's all bad, well, yeah, it's crappy, and I'm going to have to deal with that, but I'm missing something good. Mm-hmm. Then you get 3 heads and 1 tail, and that's mostly good, and that one is the very best one you can get.
Right.
And of course, 3 tails and 1 head is mostly bad, and that's
not
a good. Yeah, that basically says things are just as crappy as you think they are.
Yeah.
And then of course you get 2 and 2, 2 heads, 2 tails, which means neutral, which means balanced.
Oh, okay.
Where there's equal amount of bad and good.
Right.
And if you think those 5 states, every time you throw the coin, you know, you ask the pennies a question when it throws, and you throw the coins, that coin reflects the answer to your question.
Yeah, that's really different. I haven't heard of that technique being used before. I know that when we're in the field, we tend to use other tools also, such as pendulums, to get yes or no answers. So that's sort of the same line. You can use a different technique. So, yes.
I have my pendulum with me.
Yes.
Mine is Drashka seed.
Okay.
And very active.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that a lot of people use them by putting them over their palm like this and asking for yes or no.
Right.
And I like that. Of course, it's indicating yes. But a friend of mine, what she used to do is she'd take her pendulum, and while she was reading, she'd just hold it off to the side and just spin it around. And I've tried doing that, and that's actually a pretty good way to just bring energy into a question. Like if you're not getting a solid enough answer, a solid enough feel, just put your pendulum to the side and swing it around to, you know, bring some energy into the situation.
Right. It's a good way to start charging your pendulum to get that energy flow that you want for those questions, right? For the answers
That's
that you
right.
want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we use pendulums quite often, just to, especially for communication-wise, just trying to find out the situation that you're in, so you can ask yes or no questions and you get some answers right away. And then you can start learning what that energy is, and then you can break out the other tools such as the spirit boxes and stuff like that to try to get more answers and stuff. So we do like to use those tools also. So.
Oh, I love the spirit boxes. Well, we've used all those tools at our previous investigations at the Queen's Inn.
Yes, we have. Yes. I remember that we actually, a while ago, a couple years back, we had our very first seance there at the Queen's with you as our host. So that was very interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely coming up. Hopefully in November, we have our next big event with you at the Queen's Inn. We have our workshop and ghost hunt coming up on November 6th and 7th. Those tickets are still on sale for anybody who's interested. Just go to our website, or when the Queen's is open again, you can go to the Queen's and get them there, correct?
Yes, they're right up at the front desk for you.
Okay, great. Yeah. When are you guys opening? Do you guys know yet when the Queen's will be back open at all yet?
Oh, we don't know. We don't know. It's been pushed back to June 9th.
Okay.
But it's been pushed back a lot. You know, it used to be the end of April, then the end of May, and now we're getting into June.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Well, it is. I think everybody's just waiting for those numbers to get as low as possible before anything goes forward. Like, I know they've opened retail stores now that are only on the street side, right? So anybody that has street side businesses can open up, but you guys are kind of different because you're dealing with the public directly. So I guess there's more to it than just that for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't wait to get back there to the Queen's and start reconnecting with the spirits there. Let's talk a little bit about the history of that if you got a moment for that. You deal a lot with the spirits there at the Queen's, we know. Can you just maybe give a little bit of history about the Queen's and what kind of spirits are there?
Of course I can. Now the Queen's has been in that spot since 1858. Mm-hmm. So you have like some of the original owners there. You have J. Curry, and he was the second owner of the hotel, and he was a civil engineer. And his spirit stands right at the door of the laundry room. It just stands there, you know, and he observes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very sanguine, calm spirit. There's also another spirit in the basement that, you remember, Mr. Creepy Pants?
Yes.
You guys caught him on the grid. Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but there's Mr. Creepy Pants, and he fits his name. Mm-hmm. And those are the basement ghosts, and they've been there a long time. When you get up onto the second floor, that's where the Pinckneys are. And the Pinckneys was the third family to own the inn. Okay. And again, it was in the Pinckney family for 3 generations. And you could really feel them and their presence. There's one wing of the hotel that we believe was their original apartment, and that one, the Pinckney Suite itself, of course, that's where we do a lot of our work.
Right.
And yeah, there's just all kinds of stuff buzzing around. You can tell that there was staff there at one point or another. There was one time I did an interview with Lynn Stevenson in that room, and we were doing the visual for filming in the future. And as she's talking, we didn't see it in the room, but when we played it back, you could see this mist come over her head like that and just stand right in front of her all the time she was talking, and then go back like that. It wasn't like an orb, it was just like a mist. Across the hall from the Pinckney Suite is the room where you get the echo, the echo in the mirror, the man in the mirror.
Right.
And people will wake up in the middle of the night and they'll see someone walking in the mirror toward them, turning around and walking away.
Right.
And I always feel like that one is kind of just an echo. I really don't think it's, like Mr. Pinckney. Mr. Pinckney plays tricks. He locks doors and stuff.
Yeah, we know. We've had a few encounters on the Pinckney Suite area ourselves. The one time that we actually went up we're staying in his room on the second floor, and we opened the door. We had gone and set up some of the tools ahead of time, so we had our spirit box actually running in the room. And as soon as we opened the door to it, we heard a male voice come across, said, "I'm Pinckney." So he actually said his name to us and like, "Hello, I'm Pinckney," right when we opened the door. And another time we actually went up to the same floor and we tried to open one of the doors with one of our other colleagues at the time. She tried to open up the door, and the door opened before she even put the key in it. So, yeah, that area is definitely active on that second floor. So,
yeah, there's another story about that suite that involves one of the housekeepers, and apparently she had opened up the room to clean it, and the curtains were going out strange. And she just looked at it and said, "I don't have time for this blank." Shut the door, turned around, and went back in, and the curtains were just fine.
yeah. What were they doing? Were they flopping all over the place or blowing around like they're windy?
They were practically straight out.
Oh, straight out. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little freaky.
Yeah. But I love her response. I don't have time for this.
Yeah. Close the door, stop it, and let me try again. So, yeah, hopefully we look forward to our event if you guys are open by November. That's the pushback date for our event is November 6th and 7th. It's going to be a workshop and then a ghost hunt and a dinner also included with that package. So it's a great event that we're hosting with you guys there at the Queen's Inn in Stratford. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, I am so looking forward to that too. Do I have time to talk about my upcoming YouTube channel?
Yes, that is our next topic we're going to discuss here with you. You guys are hosting a brand new YouTube channel, and why not just tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, and it launches tomorrow, and it's called The Queen of Ooga Booga. And that's me, the Queen of Ooga Booga, and it's just going to be about all kinds of things occult and metaphysical. I intend to give tutorials on the tarot, the runes, and other topics. I also would like to do little readings on the channel. And can I ask the people who are listening to do me a favor and send me a picture of their palm if they would like me to read? I'll be doing that on Thursday. Send me a picture of your palm to the Queen of Ooga Booga at gmail.com. along with your birthday, and I will read you on YouTube on the Queen of Ooga Booga channel.
Oh wow, that sounds really interesting, different. For sure, we'll put that up in the chat right now, so we'll have Chris put the email address and also what the request is to send the palm pictures directly to you for Thursday this week. What time do you think it's going to be posted at? Do you know yet?
Well, this is going to be our first one, so there's always going to be some glitches, but we're planning to have it up at 7.
Okay, so 7 o'clock on Thursday The Queen of Ooga Booga is going to be on YouTube. Well, we wish you luck with that, and we hope you guys get lots of followers on your YouTube, and wish you the best success with the channel of Ooga Booga. So, sounds interesting for sure.
Thank you.
Let's go more into that. What made you want to do a channel for yourself?
You know, I've always just kind of wanted to have that platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to put out a tutorial, place where people could just, in the comfort of their own home, learn a little bit more about their tarot decks or their runes, or maybe learn about things like scrying using the pendulum. Maybe they were interested in some of the more occult story subjects. I'm pretty much well open to answering the viewers' questions and going along with that. I have been studying the occult most of my life, and so I can basically talk on pretty much, well, anything.
So is this going to be more, what format is it going to be? Is it going to be filmed and edited, or is it going to be a live-based show?
It's going to be filmed and edited at first, just so I get past the stammering and stuttering stage. But I do intend eventually to do it live.
Okay.
And interact with y'all and do live readings. I think that would be fun.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, so hopefully you get lots of people tuning into that. I think that's an excellent topic to start going on for your show. And you can branch out to a lot of different topics with that as well, I think. So.
Yes. And you guys sent me a picture of a palm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, that's going to be our next topic here. So let's branch off into our next area for our topic tonight here for everybody in Haunting Live Podcast tonight. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight again. We have our special guest, Sally Diane, all the way from Stratford, Ontario, tuning in with us tonight, live. If you have any questions for Sally, just ask them in chat. Chris will pass them on to us after we're done here. Maybe you could talk to a few of the guests tonight if they have any questions afterwards. But right now we're going to go into our next little bit for tonight, and that is going to be a quick little game, or I'm going to call it a game that we're going to play here with Sally live tonight. We sent her a picture earlier of a hand. So what she does is called palm readings. And she's going to read the little palm picture and see what she gets from it. And then we will show you the full picture of who it is afterwards, after she does her reading. So.
Okay, so you can tell by looking at the palm that it's a man.
Yeah, I'm going to put that up right now.
He has a narrow focus. Mm-hmm. Just a narrow plane of focus. As far as what his profession is. I think he's a giant in whatever his profession is because he's got a really strong fate line. And just the way the communication, the creativity kind of loop together, he could be an actor or a politician, but he is somebody who is on the world stage. He's got this real interesting lines around his childhood, very unique. It's almost like his childhood started one way. It's almost like there's three very unique, broken up stages of his childhood. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
I think you're on the right track so far.
Yeah, it's like, is this an older person? I mean, could he have been like sent away to a prison camp or something? It's really, really weird because he starts out and he's got like when he's a real little kid, he's surrounded in very loving, there's a very rich, into a very rich life, but just kind of severs off into something very rigid and just, he doesn't, basically it feels like a prison. It's a straight line and you just don't go one way or another, which is just diametrically opposed to where his life started. This is all when he's a kid. Mm-hmm. And then when he goes into adulthood, with this very clear idea of who he is and who he wants to be. And it really is, it's kind of like he took a much higher road. Remember I said it was like an actor or a politician? Mm-hmm. This guy, led people on a good path. He's a lot more creative than you would think on the face of him, because he comes off as this strong master of the universe kind of fella, but I can also see a lot of compassion around him, and he does go the extra mile. He really gives of himself for other people. I think he's kind of a lead by example sort of guy. He's really even tempered. He's got like this really nice balance between will and logic. His thought process is he thinks things through long and deliberately, and he does use creativity and intuition, but it's like when he thinks things through, once he's made a decision, and that's it. So who is this?
Well, I think you've hit a lot of the marks. It does sound, especially his childhood part is on the mark. And what you're saying about his development and his thought process, I would assume fits him really well. So let me bring up the full picture for everybody here. Don't know how instant that's going to be. You might have to wait a couple seconds for live to catch up. But the person in question is His Royal Highness Prince William.
Oh my God.
So does that make sense for you?
It just makes such sense. Because he started out life with Lady Di, and he got to go to Disneyland and all that other stuff.
Right.
And then when she was assassinated, which is halfway through, boom, he goes to Buckingham Palace. And it probably did feel like a prison to him.
Yeah, his life would have changed a lot after his childhood, so.
So much. And yet he comes out of it on the other side just so balanced. It's like everything in his childhood he used to make himself a better person.
And I think he's still trying to do that even to this date. You know, he's married out of, what they call it, royalty and stuff, so he's not married to somebody that's royalty, and that's going to cause another whole bunch of issues as well. So I think his life has really taken the way that you described, and I think you're right on with that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you. I like him better. I always have liked him, but I like him even better now.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't looked at his hands, because I'm one of those people, when I meet someone, I look right into the hands.
Right.
Palms are my favorite.
Right. How do you do that normally with people? Like, do you take it as part of the psychic development area? Do you just kind of link that into the palm reading, and you kind of join those two together, kind of get like a mental picture, but then you do a reading on the hand also? Or their, I guess their stance, their abilities, and do you kind of pick up on stuff?
Yeah, I like to, because when you do a reading with somebody, you need a way to make a connection. And people like having their hands read, and it gives me a chance to just take a bird's eye view of their life and to connect with them. And also it's tactile, because when you read palms, I know in the age of COVID we don't, but I used to you reach out and you touch somebody's lifeline, and you just get a feel for their life.
Yeah. So you sort of feel who they are, what they went through, that kind of stuff before you need to go talking to them even.
Yeah, because I use both visual and feeling, which would be like psychometry. How people hold jewelry, get impressions. You can do the same thing with hands, so I kind of blend it, just so I know I have a good, strong connection in a reading. And then I can launch off and grab the playing cards, grab the tarot cards, grab the runes or crystals, or just plain look at them. Some people actually like to have readings without any tools. I even have a crystal ball.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
Yes, actually I have a number of them.
And how do you work with those types of tools? Do you use those on a regular basis when you do readings, or is it kind of like a one-off thing? You might use it for a certain person, or?
Usually in a reading, I'll have one of my crystal balls on the table, and I'll just let it quietly talk to me. Sometimes, if it's really chatty, if something about the energies, is really resonating with the person, I'll grab the crystal ball and read it actively. And that's real third eye. You know, you kind of have to drop into a little bit of a trance, and then you just put your attention into the middle of the crystal ball and you let it kind of vibrate with you.
Okay. Sort of like using pendulums and crystals and stuff, it works the same way. You have to connect your energy to it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this particular one I suggest this kind of a crystal ball. If you want to start reading crystal ball, get yourself a selenite crystal ball. For two reasons. First off, they're inexpensive. One about this size, brand new, is going to cost you under $100. And you can get them smaller than this. But the best thing about selenite balls, and I don't even know whether you'll see this on the camera or not, but on either end of the selenite ball, there's like this little brown crystal, clear part.
It's showing
us. It's striated. And so it's kind of like having training wheels, because you look directly into the clear part and you're looking right into, it's like you're looking into the crystal in the right direction.
Okay. That's a good lesson for everybody that ever wanted to learn about reading crystal balls. Or I have at home a crystal skull. I kind of use it in the same way because the skull part is sort of round like that, so you can use it sort of the same way and look into the crystal. So I have that at home too.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that. You have a selenite one? Do you have like the little window too?
No, it's not a window-based one like that. It's a pretty much solidly clear, but you can look into it like a crystal and sort of look into the back end of it and see what you see. So.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So I use that sometimes, but mainly I use pendulums for that kind of stuff too. I use energies to connect with the crystal of the pendulum and try to get answers that way. So.
Yeah, pendulum is an excellent tool to use. And again, it's an excellent beginner tool. And it's easy to use. And, you can basically use anything. You don't have to go and spend a fortune at a store. You can actually put a button on a string and use it as a pendulum.
Right. So actually, Chris just brought me it. It's right here. We did get it a while ago, and it's round at the back, so you can use it.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, so. Yeah. So that's mine that I like to use sometimes. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Sally, for helping us out here tonight on HauntingLIVE Podcast. We hope you enjoyed yourself. And we welcome you to come back at any time you like as one of our guests here on HauntingLIVE Podcast. So.
Yes. And I'd like you to invite you guys to come on up sometime in July. Okay. My guest to the Queen's Inn.
Yes, definitely. We hope to come as soon as possible. We definitely are aching to get back into the spirits there and communicate with all the spirits of the Queens again. I know they quite like us there, actually. We communicate with them all the time there, so we can't wait to meet them again. So.
Yes, and I've just found out so many new things about Mr. Pinckney. I've been doing the historical research on the inn, so we'll talk about that the next time too.
Oh yeah, let's mention that really quickly. You're doing a whole bunch of research right now for the Queens, and you're posting it up on the Queen's Facebook, right?
Yes, I am.
Right. So anybody can go to the Queen's Inn Hotel Stratford's Facebook page and check out all the history about the Queens right there. That Sally's doing, so.
Yes, and I've posted quite a bit about Mr. Pinckney, and it's just the half of it. It surprised me. This guy was active in sports, active in the community, active in the province. He even has an award that's still awarded to this day that's named after him.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. That's pretty interesting that there's still an active award for him.
Yes, it was one of my favorite stories about Mr. Pinckney, and I know I'm getting into your time for other things, but this one you'll laugh at.
Yeah.
I had an old fella come up to the front desk, and he was telling me about he'd met David Pinckney when he was a young man, and he had come to the Queen's Inn, and he went into the bar, and he got a drink, right? And Mr. Pinckney came right up to him and said, "Now, young man, you want to be careful that people don't get that you don't get a reputation as a drunkard." And I thought, he's the guy that owns the bar, and the bartender comes up and tells that young man that.
Like, no, I can do what I want. It's my bar. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was another. Well, I think I've told you about this, that I had this guy come up to the front desk, and he was telling me stories about the Pinckney apartment. The problem was he was way too young to have played in the Pinckney apartment, but he showed up at the desk twice when nobody was around, just me. And I started kind of wondering, are you a guest or are you a ghost, right? Yeah. And as soon as I kind of started fizzing into that, he started walking past the front desk, not even saying anything to me, just looking and winking, the little stinker. I'll catch up with him later.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can pretty much tell, especially if there's nobody else around and there's somebody just wandering past the desk like that. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So probably only you see.
Yep. So anyhow, it's wonderful talking to you guys, and I look forward to the next time we meet.
Yes, and thank you again so much for coming on tonight, Sally. It's been so wonderful having you on Haunting Live tonight and being our guest and learning some stuff about the Queens and what you do with your abilities and stuff like that. So it's been a great chat. And we definitely welcome you back anytime as well. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much, and definitely good luck with your podcast. And reminder for all you to send over the link for your YouTube channel, and we will post that up on our Facebook as well. So that's next Thursday at hopefully 7 o'clock. So
yes.
Well, thanks very much, Sally.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Oh, you too. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Well, there we go, guys. Thanks very much for that. That was our special guest for tonight on Haunting Live Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed the chat with Psychic Sally Diane. She is from Stratford, Ontario. She is one of our very close colleagues that we work with in the paranormal field, so it was our first time that we've been able to have her as our special guest here tonight on the podcast for Haunting Live. So it was wonderful to have her on. And hopefully you guys got to know her a little bit like we do, and what her abilities are that we use when we go investigating with her. The main spot that we go to, of course, is the Queen's Inn Hotel in Stratford, Ontario. It is a very actively haunted place. We always get lots of activity. She knows all the history, all the spirits there. She works there directly, so she's constantly in contact with the spirits there pretty much every day. And when we go, the spirits also know us there, so we actually have a lot of contact with the spirits there also. And we look forward to getting back there as soon as possible. Whenever the Queen's hopefully opens up again, we'll be there. Like I was talking before, though, we do have the Ghost of the Queen's Inn event coming up. It was supposed to be booked back in May, but unfortunately things happened and we had to reschedule accordingly. That has been rebooked to November 6th and 7th of 2020. Hopefully things will be allowed to be open by then. Anybody that has bought tickets for that event, there's a dinner on Friday night. There's a classes on Saturday, workshop, and then there's also a ghost hunt on Saturday night as well. So you get that all for one price. And for tickets, you can go to our website directly at HauntingLivePodcast.com. Click on the upcoming events tab at the top, and you can buy directly from there. So with that, we think we'll cut it short tonight and let you guys get back to whatever you're doing on the Saturday evening. Thanks very much for tuning in to Haunting Live Podcast here. Like we said in the past, we have a brand new website for you guys to check out if you're not doing anything else tonight. The address is HauntingLivePodcast.com. It has all of our social media feeds on there, from Facebook to YouTube. Everything will be posted onto YouTube afterwards, where you guys can check it out and share stuff. And so definitely check out our brand new website that we have. Join our mailing list is another feature that we have now on the website. We're trying to get some emails so we can start sending you guys some great content on email of upcoming events and stuff that we're doing, different investigations that are upcoming, stuff like that for the public as well. We're trying to get some stuff lined up for you guys, hopefully also in the fall once things start opening up again. We had a couple things scheduled before this stuff happened, so we hopefully can reschedule those for the fall, including one awesome location in Toronto that we're trying to get to. They said that we're welcome back there once things get back open, so look forward to that. We have several more guests also planned, still continuing for Haunting Live podcast here. There's a couple of guests coming directly from the UK, so check that out. Some of our colleagues over there said they would come on and help us out, so look for some very special guests coming from all the way from the UK. We will have some more people locally as well, and if you want to be on Haunted Live podcast to spread whatever it is that you do, get more word out for yourself, feel free to give us a contact, and we'll see if we can book you guys in. So with that, thanks very much, guys, and hope you guys have a great evening, and happy hauntings, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to OGPS Filming /HauntingLIVE. Check us out online across the internet, live at Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.